Alright, you need, buddy.
Fucking,
Oh,
game of
are we
the
just
year.
still waiting here?
No, I'm gonna start broadcasting in like 10 seconds. You guys everybody ready to go? I just tweeted it out and did it on Facebook and all these social shenanigans.
All that boring shit that you have to do.
Yep. Blah blah blah, and let's click start streaming. Yes, I'm sure I want to start streaming. Event is starting.
Careful, it might already be started.
So don't yell racial slurs as if I'm preparing for this to start.
Stop yelling them now.
Stop! Yes, stop yelling. Essentially.
It says please stand by 45 seconds.
Okay. I'm gonna start broad. Okay, no, it's good. We're going. Hello everybody. This is our first Google Plus live stream hangout. I don't know what these are really called. We got a live chat, and why is my face not in the middle when I'm talking? A lot of technical difficulties getting this set up, but I think we're going now. Anyway.
Yeah, we're on.
We're on. Myself, John, if you haven't seen me before, I run the site. We've got a lot of other contributors that are coming out to LA to see us and talk about what we expect to see at E3 this year. Ben, would you like to say hi?
Hello.
Brian?
Hi.
Also known as Brizzo. And then Josh Cowbell.
Hey.
Our reviews editor. And then Simon.
What's up, guys?
The Game Insight crew. And then Dan popping in the background. Oh, you're going to join us. Okay.
Yeah.
Move this shit out of the way. Why am I not in the middle of the screen?
You know you never pronounce my last name right?
Weeks?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, Josh. Oh, sorry. It's
my last name's easy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Cowbell.
It's Cowbell.
It's Coble.
No. You're pronouncing your name incorrectly. Let's make that
wait. It's not Cowbell. Like every time I see it, it's need more cowbell.
It's Christopher Walken.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got my email address from. But it is actually Coble.
So, okay. I think it's going live. Let's double check this before we start getting into the real predictions. And, talk about what we expect. Yep. Okay, it's going. So, E3 is in just a few days. We did like a Q&A session with all you guys last night because Brian, Ben, and Josh are all going to be going out to LA with us. Along with Jesse and Dan. So it's gonna be fucking nuts. We're getting into a lot of the press conferences. We're not going to the Sony or the Ubisoft one. Well, you may be going to the Ubisoft one too, but who knows? So there's a lot to be determined still about what we're gonna get to see and do. But regardless, we're gonna make a lot of wild predictions about what we're looking forward to and what we expect the consoles to show at the show. So let's start at the start. Microsoft, they had the first press conference on Monday. They're obviously going to be showing a lot of games compared to their Xbox One press conference that was just a month ago. And where they focused mainly on the hardware. And they showed a couple games, but there are also some leaks recently regarding, what was the name of the game from Respawn Entertainment?
Titanfall.
Titanfall?
Titanfall.
Titanfall, okay. Yeah, and, you know, if it wasn't the Infinity Ward guys, I don't think anyone would give a shit, but, I mean, it's, you know, the guys who created Call of Duty.
Well, now it's technically an Infinity Ward guy. One of the two guys who were the head of Infinity Ward actually left the studio.
Jason West.
Yeah, so now it's just Guy.
Zampella.
That's right. So... yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I mean, it's obviously going to be a first-person shooter. Is it going to be an MMO? Is it going to be something like, you know, with a lot more persistence and a lot more RPG stuff that, you know, Call of Duty kind of made famous and kind of integrated into online first-person shooters and just kind of made that whole genre explode in a way that, you know, no one really could have expected. I'm looking forward to it. We really don't know much.
I'm surprised that it's going to be like mech-based. I feel like there hasn't been a good mech game that I've gotten into.
What the fuck are you talking about mech-based?
Titan.
Yeah.
Like, you know, robots that you get into?
Yeah.
That's what the Titans are. Titans are mechs.
Okay.
So it's like a mech game.
But is that just based on speculative knowledge of the name?
It's based on the
those
article I
details.
read.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
those details were released.
Those were released. So calling
Yeah.
it a first-person shooter is wrong. It's a mech game.
Well, you'll be able to
First-person
pilot
game.
mechs.
You can,
Like-
yeah. So it's like Battlefront or Battlefield, where you're a guy. You can run around the battlefield, or you can get in mechs if you want.
Sounds a lot like PlanetSide.
Or
Huh.
Battlefield 2142.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
And
more than
it's going-
just a first-person shooter, or like Halo when you get a tank or something like that. It's
Yeah, except
Like
it'll be
Battlefield.
much more centered around the tanks. You know, because in Halo it's kind of ancillary. Sometimes there is a tank. Most of the time there isn't.
okay.
It's also going to be a 1-year exclusive for the Microsoft stuff. So it's 360, and PC. And it'll be a timed exclusive.
Huh. Okay. So then
So
we're gonna see Titan
Fall.
Now,
Fall.
is it 2 words, or can I just like cut off the fall because I'm bored of the
no,
fall
it's
part?
It's all
Titanfall,
one word.
all
It's
smashed
it's one
together.
word. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it
Yeah,
Titan.
it's a terrible name for a game. You can't build a brand around a name like that.
No,
Tit and Fall Atio.
tit and fellatio.
I don't know. We always try to make dirty sexual names for games.
Right. Yeah, I think we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
So then we're obviously gonna see a lot of Destiny stuff. What?
Well, they're going to be at the Sony event,
Right.
so it doesn't
Okay.
look like they'll be on stage at Microsoft.
Okay. So do you think that? Well, so we're gonna go through all the different manufacturers and what we expect to see from Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, but I think these press conferences are all going to be about the games. So maybe we should just go through what games we're expecting to see, and then talk about like the fact that
Well, I think
Destiny is
there's-
going to be at Sony and not Microsoft. And then does that mean that like Microsoft locked down the Call of Duty DLC to launch first on the on the Xbox One? Is that what Destiny is going to be doing for PlayStation, or?
Didn't they say that at the PlayStation 4 event that
Destiny
they'll
would
have
get
some exclusive
special
stuff?
content, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, what does
Well-
special content mean? Are those like exclusive skins or some basic
We don't know.
bullshit?
Yeah,
It-
they haven't
it
said
could
yet.
be
I think
anything.
it's several
probably that.
hours of additional content.
Several
Whatever that
hours.
means.
Okay. Yeah, so we don't know. So
Yeah, no, we don't know.
so
We
it'll
don't know
probably
anything
be
about that game.
it'll probably be just like Call of
So-
Duty on the Xbox, where the DLC map packs come out first for.
So I'm wondering,
console.
should we briefly talk, if we're going to get into software, that's most of where the meat is. Should we just briefly go over any hardware news we think should happen before we get that out of the way?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I think
I know there's been a lot of news about the Xbox One. I just saw some
They've-
headlines. I haven't been
they've-
super read up on like they've been trying to clarify all the
Yeah.
misconceptions that are coming out
They're
about.
doing a terrible job.
I know, it's
They had
terrible.
but-
Right.
I mean, what they have right now is it's pretty much the final definitive answer for always online used games. And so they said, I'm trying to find it right now.
You have to be
But-
connected to the internet once every 24 hours or you can't
Right.
play any of your games.
Okay, here we are.
So,
Every 24 hours, once there's a check, you can play offline for up to 24 hours, and then it'll cut you off. And it's less than 1 hour if you're playing on a console that's not your own.
Right.
Not
There's
your
no
own.
game rentals.
Yeah.
The way this
Like-
is enforced. Or go ahead.
Like you can play a game you own on another system, but then
Right.
the checks will be
More.
every hour. It's a lot of all this stuff is put in place because of piracy.
Right.
It's the only reason. It's not put in there to make anybody's life more hectic, but they've made the games so easy. Like when you buy the disc version of a game, you just install it right off the disc, and then you never need the disc again. So they put all these checks in place to prevent you from just copying it and giving it to someone else, or one disc going to like 50 different Xboxes.
Yeah. Also, I said no video game rentals. That's going to be enforced by the fact that you can lend a game to a friend, but that friend must be on your friends list for at least 30 days, and you can only lend it out once.
Yeah, that's That's the big one. That's
Now-
got
That's
people
the
up in
that's the
arms.
really big one.
When you say lend, do you mean physically hand someone a disc?
Yes, because what it is it's authenticated to your account, and so it'll say, all right, this is your one lend when they put in the disk and say this is tied to someone else. Is this the authentication? You might have to say, yes, I want to give it to this person.
Is there a time limit? Have they
That will
said?
be it. There's no time limit on that.
No, it's
As I
just a
can
more
see.
complicated version of how it is. Like, if I wanted to lend any of you my copy of Halo 4, like, I can't play it because I don't have it now. You would have my disc, but because you can install the complete game from the disc, only one of you can play at a time. You can't have two people playing off of one copy of a game, just like you can now. Like, that doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's just more complicated because of the way that they're doing. Everything is completely digital, even though it comes from a disc.
So Microsoft is completely shutting down GameFly's market and the used market. What are the chances of them announcing their own rental service where you can rent Destiny?
Probably
Very
not.
high.
You know how if you rent games from Blockbuster, you get rent movies from Blockbuster. I don't know if any of you ever do this anymore, but it'll say at the beginning, you know, like, this is a Blockbuster title. It's a special splash screen.
No.
Or if you rent a Blu-ray from Redbox, a
Mhm.
lot of the extra features are blocked. It'll say you have to buy the Blu-ray to get these features. So they might just roll out special rental versions of games that, you know, you pay 99 cents to, you know, GameFly would pay a royalty fee for the game, and then you would get it and then pay like 99 cents to rent it or whatever. That seems more likely than them having to build up their own special rental platform.
Well, except
Yeah.
them building their own special rental platform means nobody else is cutting into their potential revenue. I mean, like, if they control everything soup to nuts, they're making a lot more money than, you know, they're making
Yeah,
all
but
that
that's
money.
in order to do what GameFly has now, like, that's a lot of resources. You have to open up shipping facilities and all that
No,
stuff.
no, no, no.
You
I mean,
probably know about it.
I'm talking strictly digital. Like, you can download Halo 4 for, you know, 5 days for, I keep saying Halo 4. I'll say Destiny. You can rent Destiny by downloading it, and it's timed for only 72 hours or something like that. And then you can play it as much as you want for $5. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Not
Okay, that could be possible.
yeah. And then and then they like entice you and say,
Keep
oh
it for
yeah,
another $35.
right, like rent it for another
Yeah.
week for just another $5. And then, you know, people that don't think that they're paying $5 a week for this end up paying, you know, a
It'll be
ton
like
of
the
money.
Netflix disc on your table that you
Exactly,
never send back.
exactly. It's that Netflix disc that's just collecting dust. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So moving on from that, because of all this crazy digital signature and checking and like online anti-piracy stuff, what are the chances of Sony kind of owning this controversy and going in the exact opposite direction and saying, we are not going to have any of this stuff.
Yeah.
We want you
So
to be disconnected if you want to be disconnected.
I'm pretty sure they've already gone on record saying that they're not going to have any online-only issues like Microsoft is doing.
Well, I
no
guess
online only issues, but there's the NeoJaf campaign that was on Twitter that was using the hashtag PS4 no DRM, and Sony executives responded with some pretty blasé answers. They were pretty tight-lipped about it. Maybe they're just waiting until E3 when they can really, on an equal stage, hit Microsoft and try and present themselves as a counter to Microsoft's restrictions in every single way.
well,
But
no
in the
DRM
meantime-
is insane. That's not an option. There's no
Right,
fucking
yeah.
way that's not even a possibility.
Here,
Like,
here
that's
are here's some Twitter responses saying, humbled by the outpouring of passionate PlayStation fans, please know that we hear you. I love passionate PlayStation fans. This is why I love PlayStation fans. The passion bucket overflows.
You know,
So none of them answered the question at all.
I would
about-
not be completely surprised to find Sony on stage saying the same exact shit that Microsoft is saying.
Yeah.
They could get out in front of this and you know, it had planned it originally, get rid of it because it would deal a huge blow to the Xbox One, but I have a feeling that they've got the same exact thing planned. They just haven't revealed it yet.
because it's all ultimately been the publishers and the developers. And
yeah,
if Sony
it all comes back to
strike,
the publishers.
if Sony were to strike out and say no, we're not doing the same sort of measures, well then I see no reason the publishers couldn't say, all right, Sony, for every single one of our games, the Xbox One gets a 1-year exclusive because they play by our rules.
Yeah,
That could happen.
it could. It might not, but it could.
It's possible. But definitely the publishers are in the driver's seat as far as this is concerned. So we still have yet to see the PS4 hardware as well.
That's a good point. That will be a big part of their press conference.
Because I know the Xbox, obviously part of them showing the console itself was in response to all the negative criticism Sony got for not showing it, and it ultimately kind of looks like the monolith from 2001. But
does it really matter though what the PS4 looks like at this point?
no, it really doesn't.
No, I don't think
No.
anybody really cares
As long as
anymore.
it has your HDMI, your USB, your Ethernet.
Yeah,
doesn't
Microsoft shit the
matter.
bed with their handling of this. That people, all they want to see from Sony is just put lots of games on the stage, and then if he didn't even show the console, it would just be, hey, look, Sony showed a bunch of games. They win.
Yeah, but it's basically going to be two competing visions of where the next generation is going. So Microsoft is saying there's going to be all this entertainment that's bundled with it, and that's how it's going to be basically the one device for your living room. While Sony's gone much more game-centric focused and focusing on how easy it's going to be for cloud gaming. So streaming games down using the service Gaikai that they bought and implemented, being able to seamlessly work together with your Vita or PlayStation Mobile smartphone, being able to sync cloud storage seamlessly between various devices, just making everything accessible everywhere from as many platforms as possible. That's where they're going with it.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's strategy to control the living room, that's been their goal from day one. I mean, it's not really surprising. Oh, it's a great plan. It's the like Windows is kind of falling apart. That division's not profitable. The Xbox division, I think, is the most profitable part of Microsoft. So, yeah, they're getting their shit together.
All that entertainment stuff actually appeals to me. I mean, I spend a lot of time on HBO Go and Netflix and Amazon's Prime streaming service. If they made it so I could plug my cable box directly into my Xbox and then just use my Xbox for everything, that works for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. If I ever do get the Xbox One, I'm probably not gonna even use the TV section of it because I don't even really watch TV anymore. If I'm gonna watch something, I just go on Netflix on my computer. So I don't care about the TV thing they're pushing for the Xbox One.
Well, I mean, that's probably just a function of your living situation. I think most people are in situations where they have a TV in like a public space where they watch it with a lot of other people.
TV in the living room with a cable box, which now you have Microsoft's interface on the cable box instead of that awful whatever, Comcast throw into it and to aggregate all of that for you.
Well, that's one of the reasons why the Wii U remote was such a good idea. People can watch TV and you can still play. I mean, this is pretty much their version of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, speaking of Nintendo, they're not having a full press conference, but what do we expect to see potentially hardware-wise? Well, yeah, let's stick with the hardware before we get to the software. From Nintendo during their Nintendo Direct conference, which is still...
Vitality monitor.
Oh, we're going to see the Vitality monitor?
A Fit Board
Coming back in a big way.
that has a tablet screen in the middle of the board now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But this week GameStop announced that they are pulling out and recalling all of the Wii U basic SKUs, which is the 8 gigabyte white version, and they're only going to sell the deluxe 32 gigabyte. So a possibility is that they saw 8 gigabytes is nothing in today's world, and they might retrofit them, maybe make a higher storage space SKU, and try and push into entertainment cloud, because right now they've got nothing. So
They need a price cut.
it
That
needs a
would-
price cut badly.
That'll probably be, if that's their only announcement, I wouldn't be surprised. But a price cut would
It-
really help with the Xbox One and PS4 coming out to have the cheapest console on the market.
They
And
That
need
can
a-
do almost the same things would be a big thing for them.
They need to position themselves as we do it cheaper and we have the same entertainment. We
Yeah.
have the same, all the classic Nintendo games that you love. And they've got to push this DRM situation, right? Maybe like commercials of a guy handing a disc to his friend saying, oh yeah, I can do it 5 different times. Just criticize Microsoft for every aspect of the DRM policy. I think that's all they've got right now.
Well, except Nintendo's the worst fucking company of them all for this. Like, if my Wii U breaks, the games that I've bought digitally, paid $60 for, will only work on that console. Like, I can't take my account to the next Wii U. Microsoft's been doing that, forever with the Xbox.
You can't do that?
No,
Nope.
it's tied to your
No
console.
shit.
Yep, it's not tied to an account. It's tied to a console. There's
Well, I give up.
no good reason to digitally buy a game for the Wii U. I mean,
And there's no games to buy for the Wii.
Right. If there were games to buy, you shouldn't buy them digitally. Like, yeah, they're fucking retarded. Like they can't. That's worse than the pot calling the kettle black.
I
Like,
mean,
is there an
they've already
analogy worse than that?
they have the Wii U spec. It's not going to get better. It's going to get, the only 2 directions they could take it are more storage space, lower price, right?
or both.
Right.
Or maybe a slim, but it hasn't been nearly out long enough to
Well,
warrant that.
even though you guys are only want to talk about hardware, like they've got a good show coming up based on the
Yeah,
first party stuff that
yeah.
they've allegedly got coming, and that'll
Yeah.
help them sell some
That's-
Wii
that's-
U's.
that
So-
ultimately vindicates what most people have been saying. Is that when the Wii U was going to launch, there was a huge push that they would have launch parity with quote-unquote hardcore games, right? Black Ops 2, Assassin's Creed 3, they're going to get Mass Effect 3, Batman Arkham Asylum.
If there were games to buy-
City, sorry. And that's gone nowhere because no one wants to buy the Wii U for a multiplayer experience or that hardcore experience. And so now, with that failed, it's pretty much, okay, well, first-party games. Here we go again.
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 They haven't
So-
had really any first-party games come out, anyways. Besides a couple, like a Mario game here.
Right, but they've got them.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Right.
They're cooking.
So we skipped over the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 completely. And before we get into like guessing what the launch price is going to be for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, let's talk about like do you think that there's going to be a hardware remodel for the 360 or the PlayStation 3 or a price drop for either of those consoles?
If anything, I think it's going to be a price drop.
Yeah.
Just
I
a
don't think
price
they're
drop?
gonna. I don't think they're going to redo the hardware. It's too old, and it's probably not worth their time.
Well,
PS3's hardware has been redone twice
yes,
now.
it just, a few months ago, just got slimmer.
Yeah,
so-
they,
It did.
It-
Fine.
yeah, they did it
Xbox-
twice.
Xbox 360, I might see a smaller one, especially since they're trying to possibly push it as the much more kind of the entertainment Apple TV type competitor device. Drop the price, maybe even free on contract 2-year Xbox Live Gold subscription, which you need to access all the services anyways. Either smaller or the same size, and put that goddamn power brick in the console.
Oh no, that'll never happen again. They love their power bricks. It makes the system smaller. I mean, they love
Yeah.
to say how small the box is, and
But-
because they take the brick out.
The reason is it's 10 years old, and that sort of hardware, the tri-core PowerPC processor, 512 megs of RAM, 250 gigabyte hard drive, that stuff is tiny now. It could be a tiny SoC, system on a chip. So I think they can make it work. And Microsoft has said that they're going to have major 360 news at E3, so to not forget
It's
that.
going to be tough for them to push 2 new sets of hardware this
No,
year.
no, it's definitely all one, but then they need to make sure that the 360 has a value proposition moving forward.
Well, yeah, no, it will, because I guarantee it's going to be just like the launch of a new console. All the games are probably just going to be ports. all the Xbox One games will be ports of 360 games, so no real problem.
Well, moving forward, it looks like 360 games are going to be ports of one, or at least that's how Titanfall is going to work. Titanfall is going to be being developed first for the One, and it will be retroactively ported by a different developer, not Respawn, back to the 360.
Boy. Oh,
Same thing's going to happen with Watch Dogs.
Yeah. So this is one first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
But-
what about prices for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4? Like, I think the Xbox is going to come in cheaper, and I don't think Sony learned as much as maybe we hope they did from overpricing their PlayStation 3. I'm thinking like $450 for the Xbox and $500 for the PlayStation, and that's assuming the top model. They haven't said anything about multiple model lines yet or multiple hard drive sizes yet, but that seems like a pretty consistent staple of any piece of hardware these days, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad or a console.
Okay, so yesterday I pulled up a report by Paul Thurrott. He's a veteran Microsoft watcher, has inside sources with them for over 2 decades now. He says that previously there was going to be 2 pricing models, a standalone version for $500 and a $300 version that requires a 2-year gold commitment, which is $15 a month. Since then, they've canceled plans for the subsidized version, and there'll just be one SKU at $500.
Okay.
And I don't think there's going to be a different, spec like we've seen with the 360, where we have a 4 gigabyte, a 250, Connect, no Connect, various bundles. It's going to be the single Xbox One with Connect, 500 gigabyte hard drive, and $500.
So no multiple hard drives, or like a terabyte upgrade option or something.
No, not right now. That's what they announced at the.
Well, they
announcement
said you
conference.
can stick a external via
yeah,
USB
through
onto your
USB.
Xbox, because all the games will be mandatory installs.
Mhm.
If you want to put like a terabyte external on there, you have that option.
Right.
They're not going to limit it to like 16 gig partitions. Like,
No.
Fucking annoying.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for them to not do the subsidized version. I was telling you guys yesterday that like cell
Right.
phone companies have been making so much money on subsidized phones for years. I'm shocked I'd be shocked if they don't do it. It just makes sense. They make a lot more money, and you get the box in people's houses.
Well, I'm surprised that they're not doing something exactly out of Apple's playbook and set this thing up to get released every year, like a new model. I mean, the iPhone is absolutely killing it, and they release a new model every year, whether it's going from a 4 to a 5 or 4 to 4S. I mean, people will line up around the street.
But that is starting to hurt Apple now. Like they're not
Is it?
the number.
Yeah, it is.
That's why they're about to announce the trade-in program, because they've got to take out more of these. I know people who are still operating on a 3GS. That's hurting them. They've got to get that phone out of their hands and then have them fork out some money for a new one.
Right. How many Xbox 360s have you bought in the last 7 years?
1.
One. How many iPhones have you bought in the last 7 years?
0.
5. I think I'm on
But
4.
The thing is, when they bring out a new iPhone, it's completely new hardware. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that with an Xbox. You can't,
Right.
Segment your population. Like the
Why
new
not?
iOS games don't work on older iPhones.
It would be justified for a 99-cent game like Fruit Ninja or whatever, Angry Birds,
Mhm.
but for a $60 game.
Yeah,
Plus
imagine buying a
maybe
game
even
and
more
finding
fair.
out that you have an old Xbox One and it won't run.
You mean like PC games now that scale depending on your PC specs? I mean, this isn't something new.
Oh, hey,
It's-
don't talk bad about PC games. Those guys are so fucking self-righteous right now. About
The master race.
Well, no,
Yeah,
like
oh, they are besides themselves right now.
just to test it out, I installed Borderlands on my MacBook Pro that doesn't even have a video card on it, and it runs pretty smoothly. But it also runs on my top of the line main gear that can run any game at the highest settings. Like my point is that it's not completely impossible or improbable or unfeasible to have a system set up that encourages people to buy the new Xbox every year or every other year
Well,
and have hardware
you see,
changes.
the problem with Android is everyone says it's how segmented it is.
Right.
Because, I mean, granted, you have different manufacturers, but like, you just run into too many issues where apps don't even show up on the Play Store because they just don't work with your device.
And I understand what you're saying about, being able to buy them, but if the Xbox is, $500, the carrier subsidy is what takes care of a lot of that.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that, every 2 years you couldn't get a new Xbox Live commitment and buy it at maybe $300.
Or a Comcast subsidy. I mean, they're designing this thing with an HDMI in to run directly from your Comcast box. That's the exact same
Get
thing.
$100 off when you sign up for cable.
Right, yeah. You sign up for Comcast through your Xbox. You sign a 1-year commitment at a low price, and then you pay that monthly Comcast
You
bill.
get 15% off your Comcast bill if you order it with the Kinect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a million options for them to have, every single system in place that Apple is just absolutely killing it with right now for the iPhone. So I think Microsoft's dumb by not. I mean, maybe they are setting it up this way.
For all we know, this is exactly what they're about to say.
The only the good thing about the iPhone and Apple products is if they come out, like, let's say you buy the newest iPad and then a new one comes out next year, like, your old iPad is still worth like $300. Those products are really good at keeping their value. Who's to say that the Xboxes will be the same way? That's a lot of pain from upgrading to a new iPhone is because your old one is still worth a shitload of money to somebody.
Right, yeah, you can just flip your iPhone and throw it on eBay and get a couple $100 back,
Right.
and you cover some of that cost of upgrading to the new one.
Yeah, and Microsoft might do the thing where, like the Apple model, where the last year's model is just $100 off, take $100 off, and then here's the new one. That's how they get into a lower price point, just by offering the older model at a discounted price.
Right, like an iPhone 4 right now is free if you sign a 2-year contract with AT&T. I mean, who's to say that they can't do that, but you have to sign a contract with Comcast and Xbox Live, so you're paying those two things, and you get an Xbox One for free, or last year's Xbox One for free. I mean, there's a lot of options for them to do.
I mean, there's already
something
been whispers, not here in the U.S., but in the U.K., that Microsoft could offer the Xbox as a set-top box alternative for Sky, B, the British broadcasters. So maybe it's something about the American cable businesses that they don't see it the same way. Or maybe it'll just take them longer to come around to it. But
Too many cable providers in this country.
yeah,
too many.
really.
And then you got your dish people too, and so like you could have markets where you have dish and cable competing for that, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not simple, but
But
there's billions and billions of dollars on the line. It's not like they don't have people, like very smart people,
Yeah.
working their best to get every penny that they can out of our pockets. So I'm sure they'll find a way. But
in terms of pricing by the hardware specs, technically they should be exactly the same. These two consoles have pretty much identical tech specs. 8 gigs of RAM, proprietary, but I think AMD x86 architecture, octa-core CPUs, 500 gigs of RAM, wireless N, I think Bluetooth 4. And so, yeah, from that standpoint, they're technically almost identical. So it'll just be down to vision and the software that they put on it.
the specs don't matter. It didn't matter for the current generation of consoles. Yeah, the Xbox is underpowered, but it's got more RAM or whatever, and it can read the discs faster because the Blu-ray Blu-ray drive at the time could only read at a certain speed, and the developers,
drive,
the developers try to make it as even as possible, and it's only the exclusives that were ever really able to take advantage of the hardware. So specs mean nothing. It's not like buying two different PCs and one obviously has a better video card and a better processor. It's a wash on the tech specs.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they both destroy the Wii U, so who fucking knows what Nintendo's doing these
Yeah,
days?
yeah, they do. But you know, a Wii U game of a port of a Xbox One and PS4 port might just run exactly the same, except at only 30 frames per second. I mean, at that point, does it really matter? You get the same experience. You can still get it at 1080p.
Dude, games aren't even getting ported to the Wii U now from the Xbox 360. What makes you think that Xbox One games are going to get ported to the Wii U? Like Madden,
That's Nintendo's fault.
Madden is
I
not
know.
coming to the Wii U this year.
I
That's
know.
fucking insane. That is
I know, that's-
mind blowing.
Yeah, and that tablet was designed for play calling on Madden. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That is
That's
the
the-
best use of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not coming. Like EA ports Madden to every platform available. I mean, there's probably a Madden on the phone that, like a super simple version, but it's not coming to the fucking Wii U. Like they're dead in the water.
It's just too hard for them to design for, and they don't see the value proposition in it.
Well, yeah, they haven't sold enough consoles yet.
Yeah.
That'll probably change.
3.4.
Once the new Zelda comes out, I think that's when they're going to start
Yeah,
pushing a lot of units.
Zelda and Smash Brothers have the ability to sell a lot of boxes.
Okay, well, let's get into software now. Nintendo, you mentioned Zelda and Smash Brothers. I know Smash Brothers is supposed to be at E3 this year. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be at E3 or they're just showing it during their thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a thing this year.
Like playable for us on the floor?
I don't know, but at their Nintendo Direct, like there
Mhm.
should be some mention of it.
Okay,
Like they're ready to show that this is a game that is happening.
cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I think Mario Kart was also supposed to be shown.
Mm-hmm.
I think new Mario
Yeah, they
Kart
had
as
a
well.
bunch of them.
And Legends of Link 2, I think. I think it's kind of an HD remake of the original, but also adding some new content.
Legends
That's
of
also
Link? What the fuck is Legends
Or
of
Legends
Link?
of Zelda.
Oh.
Legends of Link.
I think isn't that the second Zelda game to come out or something like that?
Yeah, that 2D
Yeah,
side
so.
scroller, that game was a
Yeah.
piece of shit. I don't want a
Zelda
remake
is
of
the
that.
hero in those games. The
Yeah.
dude with the sword is Zelda.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, well.
Link to the Past, sorry.
Okay, the top down. Okay, that makes
Hot
more
Link
sense.
to the Past.
Not or Legend of Zelda 2, because that game was ridiculous.
Is there going to be a real Zelda game?
I hope so. They better be one.
They need it.
They really need it. I know you want to do that.
That Link to the Past sequel, that's only on the 3DS.
Yeah, they've got Wind Waker HD. I'm looking at a
Yeah,
list.
that's-
Oh,
right
that's
now.
right. They announced that a while ago, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Nothing more has
remake.
come out.
Isn't there a Luigi themed Mario
Yeah,
game
it's
coming out?
Luigi year or something like that. A lot of Luigi
It's,
games coming out.
New Super Luigi U comes out on the 20th of this month.
Right, Super Luigi Brothers, right?
Super Luigi U.
Yeah, whatever it was.
But that's like
one.
that's DLC for the new Super Mario Brothers U that came out as a launch title, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a full standalone $60 product. It's just $15. or
Oh,
something.
okay. Well, they've also got Bayonetta 2, which may or may not be a good thing, and Pikmin releases in August. So, I mean, it's something, and they're all exclusive.
Oh yeah, Bayonetta 2 was going to be an exclusive for Wii U.
Hmm
Forgot about
What
that.
is it not now?
No,
I
it
think it still
still
is.
is.
PS3 exclusive the first time around. Or was it just PS3 and 360 the first time around?
I think it was
No,
PS3 360.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a alleged coup when they had the Wii U.
Well, Bayonetta was like a secretly really niche game that a lot of people really, really loved and were hardcore into.
Hmm
Fucking
To get
batshit
that as
crazy
a
game.
I know.
My
to
God.
get that as an exclusive is kind of it's a deal. I don't know how big, but it's a deal.
It's a thing, yeah. It's
Yeah.
important to a few, a few perverts like Dan over
Well,
here.
it-
But look at him, he's got a
Make you
ponytail.
wanna
He's a
buy
dude with a
console.
ponytail. He's a fucking, and he plays Japanese anime things.
I did that for work.
Yeah, sure. Anyway,
Yeah, they could just start doing what other publishers are doing and just HD remakes of everything they've got. Just
Yeah,
HD.
They're doing an
Everything.
HD Fable. They're doing
Oh,
a remake
wow.
of the Fable game for Xbox 360.
The original
curious
Fable?
about that
Fable
series.
1?
Yeah, Fable 1, they redid the
Oh.
entire game in, like, Fable 3's engine or something like that.
Yeah, the Lost Chapters.
Yeah, it's Fable 1 and it's DLC coming to the Xbox
Yeah.
360. So I think I'm going to grab that. I love Fable 1.
Interesting. Okay. So then, do any of you guys have experience with Pikmin? Because that was a big part of their press conference last year, but I know nothing about the franchise.
I had friends that had Pikmin 2 on the GameCube.
Okay.
That's
Supposed to be really good. You send your Pikmin to die and kill for you. It's like a real-time strategy.
RTS type thing.
Yeah. But on a smaller scale, but with really cool-looking characters and stuff.
Okay. Did any of you guys play, what was it, Overlord? I think it was
Gremlins. You sent them off.
in Overlord?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was like, was that a launch title? Or was it like really early on?
It was really early on.
It was really early
Yeah,
on.
it was an early 360 game.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm imagining for Pikmin from what I've seen from the gameplay videos of it. But I don't really know. So hopefully that'll be playable. Hopefully they'll have a release date because they need something. Anything else for Nintendo?
If that's coming out in August, it should be there.
Oh, it
Definitely.
is coming out in August. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, we'll get to play it then.
All right.
I don't think that was on the show floor last year. Pikmin.
I think it might have been.
It might have been.
We didn't even try to see it though.
No, we just played Rayman last year.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which was
Okay.
great.
That game is fucking fantastic. Every trailer I see for that, it's amazing. I can't wait to play it. It's very music themed now.
Oh, that game looks amazing. I saw it in a GameStop. It was a playable demo of it. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And really fun to play. It's really cool the way they integrate the music into what you're doing.
Yep. And they get it's like licensed music, but it's their own kind of Rayman remix with weird tribal instruments and stuff like that. And, rain didgeridoos. I don't know. I'm just fucking talking, but yeah. So anything else from Nintendo software-wise? I expect to see. Someone mentioned Metroid Prime. Lpolk117 said Metroid Prime 4.
Instant buy.
Yeah. Now, would you want to see?
Absolutely.
So does Prime for the Metroid games? Does that mean 3D environments?
First person 3D environments.
Yeah, first person 3D environments. So that wouldn't be a traditional Metroid 2D kind of Metroidvania style.
Right. But in the Prime versions of in the Prime games, there were parts that were 2D, but it was more like you go into the Morphball and you move around in 2D.
Mm-hmm.
So they put that little thing in there. But those games are fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. And I can't for the life of me remember the studio behind it, but I don't think they've done shit since.
Yeah, I haven't seen that name.
There was a Metroid game after Prime 3 that was decent that I played.
Yeah, that was Team Ninja.
Oh.
That Metroid fans hated because they changed the Samus character from being a badass to what's Japanese people think women are like, which is not flattering.
So there was a lot of tentacles in that game, you're saying?
A lot of tentacle grape. Nice. Oh man, I missed out on a good title.
Yeah.
What else? So now, what about Animal Crossing? That's a title that I've always heard. That name is always used with a lot of reverence, but I've never.
Out.
Oh, one Animal Crossing just came out. Okay, yeah,
I think it was
I'm
for
not
the
One
3DS.
just came out for the 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
only
me neither.
3DS is doing most of the heavy lifting for Nintendo right now. Wii U's just got nothing but.
the new Pokemon game's coming out for
Pokemon
Nintendo.
XY as well for 3DS.
There was that one mech game called X that from Monolith Soft. They showed that one trailer for it, but since then they haven't come out with any details. And that might be there.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. I haven't heard of that.
There
From
are
Monolith
artists-
Soft.
It looks like
What has Monolith done?
I don't think it's the same Monolith Soft as
Yeah.
like Fear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Monolith lasted Gotham City Imposters. I'm surprised they're still open.
But it looks like Monster Hunter with mechs. At least from the images I'm seeing. But other than that, I don't know anything else about it.
Monster Hunter with mechs. I bought Monster Hunter. I think it's still in the shrink wrap.
Where you're in
Fuck.
mechs or you're hunting, or is it like mech
Oh,
hunter?
it's not the shrink wrap. It's
no, they
unplayable.
were-
Still in the box.
In
Still
the
in
trailer
box.
they showed, I'm pretty sure they were in mechs.
You know, people go nuts for Monster Hunter, but I don't know why it is. I look at it and it just seems like
It looks good,
Such
but
a
I've never
bad-
played it.
I played the shit out of the demo, which is why I bought the full game. And it's a really interesting concept. Like, it's if you've played Dark Souls, it's a very similar style of combat. It's very slow and methodical, and you really have to like. It's not just button mashing. You really have to time it perfectly, and then parry, and really know how to use all of the abilities that your character has. But yeah, it looks like cat piss. I mean, it's just fucking awful.
yeah. What's it called? Lost Planet does a really good job of, I think, what Monster Hunter tries to be.
Enormous battles with huge bosses that just completely
Mhm.
dominate you, and then you have to find their weak spots and just like chip away at them for
Yeah.
a long time. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Except
They
Monster
do a really
Hunter's
good job of that.
Monster Hunter's all melee, like Dark Souls
There's some range though.
in Monster Hunter.
Yeah, you can get a bow or a crossbow or something like that.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I mean, for the most part, Monster
Yeah,
Hunter
it's
and
all
Dark
melee.
Souls are melee, and then like Lost Planet is guns. What else? So let's move on to Sony. There was some leaked information about the Lost Guardian potentially showing up.
No.
Who fucking knows?
No.
That
No?
game is
It-
lost
it-
on its own.
It makes sense for it to be there this year because from the beginning, they must have not shown it last year because they were busy moving it over to the PS4. Like, this is gonna be the system for it to come out for, like, the type of games that Team Ico, whatever they're called, the
Mhm.
type of game they make seems like it would fit perfectly on the PS4. Big, huge, really pretty looking world. I think it'll be there.
So that team just skipped an entire generation of consoles. They had 7 years to
Pretty
make
much.
one game,
Yeah,
and
well,
they couldn't fucking
They
do it.
ma-
That's
they-
pathetic.
Well, Shadow of the Colossus came out like
the end of-
right at the end of the
Yeah, the
right at
PS2
the end of
life
the PS2's
cycle.
life cycle.
Yeah.
So, and that
Yeah.
game was fantastic. I mean, they did a tremendous job on that. So I think The Last Guardian will be there. It's about time. Like, they're at the point where they need to put out a game or just stop. Like,
Yeah.
How do these developers stay in business? I don't know how much money
Yeah.
Sony's given them to not release a game.
Them and Polyphony, are those the guys that make the Gran Turismo games? Like, they
Yeah,
are so
but
fucking
Yeah.
slow.
Gran Turismo 6 is on the PlayStation site, so it's going to be at Sony's event too.
But it's only going to be PS3 for now, they said.
Oh, that's
They haven't
GT6.
announced
interesting.
any details for PS4 availability yet. All they said is right now it's for PS3,
Huh.
which is
Huh.
really interesting. Yeah.
So
Because-
Forza's pretty much made them irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant. Like, if you're a racing
Also,
game
it
fan,
looks like they forced them into a hole because if GT6 is only going to come out for PS3, it's pretty much just going to be 5 upgraded.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way they've built a completely new game. No way.
no.
And what else? Killzone, Shadowfall.
Yeah,
There's that
the
new
video
one.
that they showed at the PlayStation press conference is fucking sweet. I mean, they showed a ton of games at the PlayStation 4 press conference when they first
did.
announced
It
that.
was,
But
Infamous Second Son, that new.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm sure Kratos will make an appearance. It'd be nuts if they didn't show his face up there.
You
Well,
got
they
it.
just
I think
they
if-
just came out with a God of War game.
Yeah, if you see Kratos, it's just going to be in a montage. I don't think they'll have anything God of War.
I bet they will. I mean, I don't think it'll be a launch title. I bet it'll be something that we see at E3 2014 as we get
It
to
could
play
be,
with.
but they've got a lot of first party stuff already announced that they need to show and
Mhm.
say, this is the launch title.
Yeah, but that's their biggest character. That'd be
no-
like Microsoft. That'd be like
They don't have-
Microsoft not having Master Chief show up at all during the press conference. It's
They don't
going
have-
to happen.
They don't have anyone left to kill in God of War though. Like even God of War Ascension. Even with my limited knowledge of Latin and Greek culture, I had never heard of Hecatonchires before.
I'm pretty sure
I
he's
don't
killed
know.
all the gods.
Years.
I don't even know
Yeah.
how those games sell so well. They're fun to play, but Kratos is just like the most unlikable character I've ever played in a game. Like, seriously, he's got like serious personality disorders, and I just don't even want to play as him anymore.
Character
Or-
fatigue. I guess
Yeah,
that's
he's just angry all the time and just like, hey, let's kill all these gods in just really unnecessarily brutal ways. It's just like the developers jerking off about, the kind of kills that they can make for this guy.
I guess that's a benefit of having a silent protagonist, is that you don't get tired of him after the end of the game, or
Yeah,
after
it's like
playing
Gordon
3 or
Freeman.
4 games.
Like Gordon Freeman, he doesn't say a word in any of the games he was in, and it's like everyone wants him.
Or Master
And
Chief,
yeah,
like he
yeah.
said like 10 words in the first 3 Halo games, and then
And then
after
he couldn't
Halo
stop
4,
talking.
yeah, and in Halo 4, he started drinking a little bit and rambling on with Cortana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she still does most of the heavy lifting in those games. She's like the main.
Yeah, the narrator,
character
the
there.
inner voice. Yeah, absolutely.
Square Enix showed off their new engine and then said they'll have more details about Final Fantasy at E3, and then we're hearing all this stuff about Lightning Returns.
Whoop de fucking do.
Those are two
And it-
completely separate games. So
I don't care. I don't fucking.
I'm just
care.
running
Does
down the
anybody-
list, all right?
Okay.
No. I know. I'm just sharing my opinion. But like,
Well,
I like Final Fantasy games as a concept, but they've completely lost me lately. Like their mechanics just aren't fun anymore. They're too slow and too tedious. Like,
Literally, the game fights itself. You
yeah.
can just hit auto battle and it does it for you.
Well, in Lightning Returns, you actually have a more active role in combat. You'll actually be attacking enemies yourself.
Okay.
Ooh.
And is Final Fantasy 14 going into their new thing this year?
That's an MMO. That's a PC MMO.
Right.
And
Right,
we
but
actually
they-
get
they,
meeting
like,
to see that.
complete-
Yeah.
Didn't they? I want to say they shut the game down to.
Yeah,
bring
they
it
shut it
back up
down
at,
to
like,
redo the
2.0
entire
version.
game. They shut the game down. They remade it, and then they're.
Oh, did that happen already, or is that?
Yeah, that happened already. If you
Okay.
bought a copy back then, they'll give you the new one for free.
All right.
Yeah,
Or
like
you buy it.
I think they shuttered the studio completely that made the original Final Fantasy 14, and then they like built a new studio to fix all the problems that were happening with the previous one.
That game was unwanted from the start. Remember when they announced it and like you could hear people laughing because 13 wasn't even out yet?
Yeah, they announced Final Fantasy
that
13
nobody wanted.
versus Final Fantasy 13, which that doesn't exist anymore, and then Final Fantasy
Yeah.
14, like the exact same press conference, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, versus 13. That's dead. It's gone.
Who knows?
Well, of any Final Fantasy game that's going to be at E3, I hope they show Final Fantasy X and X2 HD.
Oh, remakes, yeah.
How about a Final Fantasy 7 HD remake? I think people have been asking for that
What about it?
since the PlayStation 2 came out, and they realized they wanted an HD or a step-up remake, and they still don't do it. I mean, that'd be a
Yeah.
fucking awesome launch
March 3.
title.
Well,
They
you can
said-
get it on PC, and it's better textures, but I don't think that's exactly what you're going for.
Right.
They didn't want to remake 7 because they want it to live up to everyone's standards or so until they can deliver a new Final Fantasy game that meets the hype for the Final Fantasy 7 remake. They don't want to remake 7.
Okay, well, yeah, they say that now, but their company is also completely falling apart, and the only, like,
Yeah.
the Eidos branch of Square Enix is, like, the only thing selling anything, so they're going to get
Didn't
really
they-
desperate really quick and put
Square
crap
Enix
out a
just lose
shitty
their
remake.
CEO too.
Their North American CEO just left the company.
Yeah, they're having problems. I mean, the console shifts. Who was it? Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, I think it is. You know, he's been saying for a long time that, like, with these console changes, there are always companies that completely fall apart. And, you know, it seems like Square Enix is going that way. It seems like, well, obviously THQ already fell apart.
Couldn't make it.
There was someone else. Capcom is, like, slowly just treading water. Even though I think they're doing pretty well with their Street Fighter stuff. But
Atari's done.
Atari?
Atari filed for bankruptcy and everything. So
Oh,
yeah.
when did that happen? I missed that headline.
A couple months ago.
Oh, really? Shit. Jesus
Isn't
Christ.
that not the first time they filed for
Yeah.
bankruptcy too?
Well, the name has so much weight on it. It gets passed on from person to person. Just the name, the
Right.
shell, just the shell, to take the name Atari, and it's gonna get passed on again. You can be sure for that. Yeah, it was in January, late January.
Okay. Let's see. What else
Jonathan
There was
Blow.
that Dragon game that they showed.
Dragon game.
The Sony thing looked really good. There's a
Looks
guy
like-
with a sword. Dragons. No.
Nope,
I like
nothing.
What about
People thought it was like
Jonathan Blow's game?
Oh, The Witness. Yeah.
The exclusive to PS3 or PS4,
Well, and PC.
PlayStation,
But
and okay.
yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Braid's an incredible game, and Jonathan Blow's an incredible blowhard, but like he
What
makes
is-
good products.
What is The Witness anyway? I missed that part of their presentation, and nobody said anything otherwise. It was
I
just
tuned
like,
out.
Hey, Jonathan Blow hates things blowing up.
Yeah. To me, it kind of looks like Myst. Like it's an island filled with mystery, and you have to explore it and solve a bunch of puzzles. But it's instead of point-and-click adventure, you're actually walking around doing stuff.
Seems like he needs this game to be big, or else he's in real trouble. He's got a real reputation, at least among the gaming public, for being a dick. And he did. Braid was fantastic.
Mhm.
And if The Witness isn't, people will look at him like the
Yeah, they're
failed
gonna call him
wunderkind
on
or
his,
something.
his BS.
Yeah,
Um,
should have put more RPGs in it.
yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much.
Can I just redeem myself from you not knowing what the fuck I was talking about?
No, moving
It's
on.
called Deep Down, and you should remember it because it's using the Panty Raid engine.
Oh, the Panty Raid engine. Yes, now I remember.
Yeah, so fuck you.
Was that Square Enix?
It's Capcom.
It was Capcom. Okay, that's right.
Many people thought it was Dragon's Dogma 2 just because of the
Oh, was
social
that the
features.
game that it was a CG video, but they put the HUD in the corner to make you think that it was
Yeah.
gameplay, but it really wasn't? Okay. Now I remember that.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
So Naughty Dog, yeah, let's see, El Polk, just said in the comments, Naughty Dog is about to release Last of Us, which is getting insanely good reviews, and I'm really looking forward to the full version of that. But
yeah, they'll probably show something.
they'll
but that'll
probably-
be it. Because they got to hype it out. It's coming Friday.
well, I mean,
That'll just be part of a montage.
do you think there's going to be any Nathan Drake at all to be seen
No.
for PlayStation
No
4, like even teased?
Not right now.
Actually, there could be, because didn't Naughty Dog say they were done with Uncharted? Sony owns the IP. They could
No,
just move it to new studios,
They split
but-
their studio into two so they can develop multiple games at once.
Okay,
So
if
in
they
theory
did, it would
they-
be like it would be a teaser.
Yeah, so in theory they could be working on Uncharted, but they haven't gone on record and said what they're working on next.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Let's see, what other... So yeah, we talked about Infamous, Naughty Dog,
Little Big Planet.
Resistance? Oh yeah, I'm sure there'll be something Little Big Planet. There has to be. That franchise has been incredibly successful for them.
Yeah. Something from them. Diablo 3, which we thought was going to be a PlayStation exclusive up until this week, when they also then said, oh yeah, and then it's also for Xbox 360 now.
Yeah.
So they've got that coming. Destiny, I mean, we could talk about that because
Oh, yeah,
Bungie
they'll
seems
have
to
a big
be
thing for Destiny.
leaning pretty heavily towards Sony right now, what with focusing on Sony as the place where they announce things. They'll get exclusive content of some kind, playable.
Well, that makes sense, because that's like Bungie trying to become a brand for PlayStation owners. They're already established for people who have Xboxes, and there's a lot of Halo fans already on YouTube and in forums. Like, they're psyched for Destiny just because it's Bungie. They need
No,
to
it's a good point.
be a big presence for PlayStation owners.
Yeah, so it's similar to what Ubisoft does for Assassin's Creed, where the PlayStation just always gets one more DLC pack that the Xbox doesn't. A few hours, 2.5 hours of extra content.
Those things are always shitty too. I hate when they do console-specific
Yeah,
DLC. It's such a waste.
I think that's pretty much the sum total of more of the PlayStation orbit of games.
Well, there's Beyond Two Souls.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Heavy Rain 2. Heavy Rain was awesome. I liked that game. I'm
Heavy
looking
Rain
forward
was a
to
piece
that.
of shit.
What? I liked Heavy Rain.
There was
Oh,
titties.
fucking
Come on,
shit.
titties.
I thought it was really
No,
unique. I mean, it
no.
wasn't.
It was a complete mess.
I liked Heavy Rain, but everyone I had died in the game because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh yeah, you other guys, you don't know what
You
what
want- you
you're
want-
talking about.
You want to talk about a game that plays itself? Heavy fucking Rain.
Yeah, right. You had to do controller twister, like
Uh,
hit every button
When,
possible.
when I played through it, I found the first time I played through it, I tried to just keep my hands off the controller and see how far I could get into the game without doing certain things. It makes you before the game came out, they told you, your characters are always in danger, but there's not. There's only like 6 chapters where your character can die in the game, and there's a lot of tense events where you can do nothing. Like there's a chase through a market. Like if you do nothing, the guy gets away. Big deal. The story still moves on.
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like in terms of gameplay, that was one of the least gameplay heavy games ever. I mean, there was
Yeah.
nothing there. I mean, L.A. Noire looks like an action adventure game compared to Heavy Rain, but like
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. Like just the challenges and the decisions that they made you make, and like if you played along instead of trying to break the game, it really challenged you and made you think on your toes and make decisions quickly that had big consequences.
Right,
if you
well,
Like,
fucked
do you
up.
chop off your finger or do you not chop off your finger?
Right,
Well-
or like the controller gymnastics when you're like crawling under the fences and you have to like hit 4 buttons at the same time and then hit this other one and you're just like you get these crazy claws.
Using your nose.
Yeah, you're like using your nose and your tongue to like, hit the buttons.
Right, but Telltale did that with The Walking Dead last year and
Fuck that
blew it out of
game.
the park. All the stuff that Heavy Rain was going for, The Walking Dead nailed.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever they do with what's the new one
That's-
called?
Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond.
Who cares?
Yeah.
That studio is so upset. They have such a fetish for making real life people in the games that they don't focus on the game part of the games.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want to talk about fetishes, like talk about the guy who was showing off Drive Club at the PS4 reveal.
Oh, that car porn
Yeah,
game.
Did someone just fart? I would have sworn I just heard a fart.
no,
No.
I heard that.
Yeah. I thought it sounded like a little hand fart kind of thing. Oh well, moving on. No one's gonna own up to it. All right.
Someone stepped on a duck.
Hey, someone step on a duck. Yeah. Anyway, what were you talking about before I interrupted you?
Race Club Drive.
Oh yeah, race club
Drive
fetishes.
Club.
Drive club fetishes. Yeah.
First rule of Drive Club.
The first
The
rule
only
drive.
racing games I like are ones that are batshit crazy, like where cars are blowing up around you, they're flipping and tumbling. I
Oh,
don't like the real ones. I like the arcade ones better.
Yes, I'm the same way.
I think Dan just wrote the tagline for your review for Drive Club, Josh. The first rule about Drive Club is you don't talk about Drive Club. And it's like
Oh,
2 out of 5 or something like that. Boom,
oh,
done.
yeah, I'll probably
Print
end up
it.
reviewing that.
Print it. Write that down. Don't forget that. That's beautiful. Yeah. So so they have their drive. Like, so what are the staples for every launch? You got a driving game. You're gonna have a shooter. You're gonna have an RPG.
Sports.
Well, yeah, tons of sports games from EA.
Shitty Ubisoft titles.
Do we know what the RPG is going to be for either console? Because there's got to be some like sci-fi or fantasy.
Xbox has
Xbox.
that Fable HD remake coming
No,
down.
that's coming for 360 though.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but I saw, I don't know if this is real, but I saw a leaked image of like what the announcements are going to be for the Xbox, and there's Fable 4 on that list.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I'm
know.
pretty
Yeah,
sure
it's
that list was fake.
Yeah, so who
Yeah,
knows?
Because
it-
everyone I've talked to said that list was fake.
Yeah, I
That
was like to
had,
see
that
Fable 4
had Halo 5 on the list, and I don't think that's anywhere
near
ready
completion.
to be shown.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, if they make Fable 4, just don't make it Fable 3.
Is the
What's
Fable
BioWare
franchise
doing
really
these
as big
days?
as they make it out to be?
It
Yeah,
sells ass loads.
Like the first Fable
Okay.
was good, second Fable was okay, the third one was ignore it, don't even get it. And hopefully the fourth one will be more like the first one, more actually an RPG rather than you just murder stuff and you get all the stuff you need just from opening up chests instead of putting it into actual points. Who knows?
What's BioWare doing these days?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What has BioWare been doing these days?
Dragon Age 3, Inquisition.
Oh, yeah. They could do something. Well, I mean, that'll be at the EA press conference. They'll probably have... do we talk about this during the podcast? Like, are we going to see anything Star Wars at all?
Star Wars 13th
Dice,
No.
Dice said they
Oh,
had
right.
some important or interesting stuff, but that could just be Battlefield 4. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
Dice
hoping-
LA was set up to make Star Wars games.
And I hope they show Battlefront 3, but that's just
Well,
wishful thinking. on my
Don't we
part.
all?
Could they
Don't we
have-
all wish they would just show Battlefield?
Yeah, could they have turned that around that quickly? I mean, EA just got the Star Wars rights.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
month
1313
ago?
was like majority done. I mean, because they had technical demos and everything. They could.
right, it was at E3 last year.
It looked good.
Yeah. But should we move on to like
Speaking
Xbox
of
specific?
EA, well, with EA, Mirror's Edge 2 seems like it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, that we'll see a lot of Mirror's Edge. That'll be at their press conference. That and Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 is going to be a huge
Well,
fucking thing.
yeah. If Mirror's Edge 2 is a thing, like, I would love that. It's about fucking time if they really do show that. Seriously.
That'll be a good one. So, Battlefield 4, is that going to be on every platform available? Is that going to be 360, One, PlayStation 3,
I think
PlayStation
so.
4?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Everybody will have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it'll come out the week before Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yep. So, Call of Duty Ghosts comes out the second Tuesday in November, and Battlefield comes out the first Tuesday in November. Okay. So,
Or
fucking-
or the last in October.
That's right. They came out late October
Yep.
last time. Forgot about that. Huh. Oh yeah, so Destiny is coming out the first Tuesday in October. Call of Duty is coming out the second Tuesday in October. The consoles are going to come out the third Tuesday in October.
No,
Or, I mean, November.
wait.
I said
Yeah.
October. I meant November for that. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd place money on that. I'd do a 3-bet parlay on that. Yeah. Anybody want to take that? Get a
No.
serious
I
payout for
would
that.
Not a
hope for
gambling
September
man.
myself, but
September?
probably. Well, I would hope for September, but
For the
Well,
consoles?
they say holiday.
yeah.
For the consoles, you think the consoles? There's no.
No, I
September?
I don't think they will. But I would personally, if I was gonna get one,
Oh.
I'd want to have the console, play around with it, and then when the releases came out, or already have the fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it looks like Microsoft wants Ghosts as a launch title, and if I wouldn't blame them if they did.
But isn't that going to be on every console? So why do they want it like the way they
Because-
showed it off at the Xbox conference they had seemed like it was going to be an Xbox exclusive. The way they were showing
It
it
won't
off.
be,
and
but
stuff.
it's Call of Duty, and if you can
Yeah.
have it releasing alongside your console, you'll sell a lot of copies of both.
Did you know you'll have a dog which you will be emotionally
Oh,
attached to?
Yes, and the fish move out of your way.
Same thing in. Have you seen the video of like the Super Mario
Yes.
64?
Yes,
Where it's, like,
that is
the fish
incredibly
moved
well
out of the
done.
way from him. I thought that was hilarious.
No, I haven't seen that. You have to post that in the chat. I want to see that. I haven't heard of that one.
See if I can
Um,
find it.
Oh, I had a thought. Oh, so are we going to see GTA 5 at either press conference?
No,
No, I don't think so.
No?
they don't need a
Maybe.
press
At
conference.
a Microsoft or a Sony.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, Take-Two or Rockstar is not going to be there at all. We're not going to get a chance to play it at all because they don't give a fuck and they don't need to give a fuck. But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be some exclusive DLC or a timed exclusive DLC for the 360 or the PS3 to sell some more consoles.
If there was something,
I linked the video in chat if you want to see it.
Okay.
I just think that'll be part of a montage where they get up on stage and say, we'll have exclusive DLC to the Xbox One, Xbox 360 this many months ahead of the PS3 and PS4.
yeah, or they
for-
might even just have a trailer or something. But Rockstar never goes to these things.
Yeah, they don't need to.
Yeah, John, you're right. They don't need to, so they don't.
Yeah, but there's so much money on the line for such a big game. Like I mean,
It's gonna sell no matter what. It's gonna sell. It's Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's coming out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and there are tons of those on the market, and um, they're gonna sell a ton of copies. It's just gonna happen. They did it with Grand Theft Auto 4 when that game came out. It was a brand new engine and everything, and that game sold a shitload of copies.
yeah. I mean, yes, it's going to sell no matter what. But the reason that the DLC is coming exclusive to the time exclusive to the Xbox for Call of Duty is because Microsoft pays Activision a shitload of money for that.
Right. Well,
right.
Too. Or
I
wait, what are you
read
talking about?
I'm
year or
talking
two
about
ago,
Call of Duty. I'm talking about GTA being at one of the press conferences because they're getting paid a lot of money by Sony or Microsoft. Like, who do we think is going to shell out the cash? Because Microsoft did originally for GTA.
They lost a ton of money on that. A ton.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people bought the Xbox 360 over a PlayStation because they knew GTA was coming to that first.
Right, but I think the problem was not a lot of people then ended up buying the Lost and Damned and Ballad of Gay Tony afterwards, because Grand Theft Auto 4 was a huge enough game with enough stuff to do in it already, and the two expansions came out so late after the game came out that nobody really cared.
Mm-hmm.
The map packs, like once Ghosts goes gold, like that's the minute they start working on the map packs if they haven't already. Like, they've got that shit planned well in advance, and those things sell because they have them out within months of release.
Yeah.
So those make financial sense. That's why they keep doing it. Not only that, but they want you to buy a $15 map pack with a $20 point card.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, aren't they phasing out Microsoft points now?
They
officially?
are. They are. I don't know if they said yet how you can... Will you be able to buy then something at face value without having to have a wallet?
I think, yeah, it's going to be a unified interface with like Windows 8, which also has an App Store, and Windows Phone to a smaller extent, because you can already
Who gives a fuck?
you can already attach a credit card, and so just have them be that way for transactions. What else? EA Sports pretty much was like an Xbox thing for whatever reason.
Yeah, EA and Microsoft seem to be in bed big time.
Yeah. I bet it's EA thanking Microsoft for the DRM measures, because didn't EA also just cancel the online pass thing?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, for Xbox. So that's like a sign of relations between them. So they did Madden.
Well, they canceled the online pass altogether.
Yeah.
Right, but they did it first on the 360, and they made a big deal of it when they did it on the 360, and they made sure that they were at the Microsoft event. And you know how in the past they showed up at the Sony event and they were like, "Hey, you want to see more of Dead Space 2? Well, we'll be at the Sony event." And it seems like if there's anything like that this year, they might if there's. Like, I have a feeling if they're going to do a Mirror's Edge 2 thing, it'll be at the Microsoft event, and they'll say, hey, we'll have this at ours, or whatever, just to have that, big deal for
like FIFA 14. FIFA 14 is getting exclusive content for Xbox. Respawn, Titanfall, probably going to be an Xbox exclusive, at least for some time. Any Call of Duty Ghosts? Is that going to be a timed exclusive, or have
just the maps
DLC? Okay,
yeah,
that's par for the course.
Right,
that's always happened.
They do that shit every year.
Mm-hmm. Alan Wake is back in what is it called? Quantum
Break.
Break. Not Conundrum. That's a different game.
I don't think that has anything to do with Alan Wake. I think that's just Remedy.
No, it's the same people.
So does that mean that there's a character in the game whose name is Quantum Break?
Wait,
highly doubt it.
Is that the main character's name? Is that a spoiler?
I feel like it's telling us what will happen. There will be a Quantum Break.
Oh, that was the weird trailer with like the boat running into the bridge.
Yeah, with the little kid who's got powers or something.
Yeah, and the mom's like, "Why are you so special?" Yeah, that was weird. I didn't like that. Was dumb.
I mean, that's Remedy doing just weird ass shit.
That's true. That's just their fucking mushroom trip that we're watching.
Yeah.
Forza 5. That's not particularly interesting. It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah, I think we've covered all the big titles except for maybe.
I'm hoping there's a
Bethesda.
Gears.
Oh yeah,
Those people who
Gears.
fly did the last one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure they're working on Gears 4 for the Xbox One. No, Gears 1. It should be called Gears 1. That'd make a lot more sense. Oh yeah, so how is 1 going to get incorporated into some of these game titles? Is Halo...
Don't think they will.
No?
They will.
This is not Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh.
If it is, it'll be like first party Connect stuff. The same way that they put Wii in the name of first party Nintendo stuff. Yeah, it'll probably just be that.
Connect Party for 1.
Well,
Dinner alone for 1. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see myself doing more Connect stuff if it actually fucking works. So yeah, let's go to Ubisoft then, and then I don't think we have a lot of other stuff to cover. Assassin's Creed.
4.
I see a lot more about that.
Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, maybe.
This racing game that they've allegedly been working on called The Crew.
I haven't heard of that. We haven't heard anything from Rainbow Six in a long time. I can't remember the last time
there
I
was
played
that
Rainbow Six.
gameplay video there was that gameplay of Patriots that they showed a while ago, and then they've just been quiet about it ever since.
Yeah.
Well, it came out at a bad time with where terrorism was a big thing in the news,
Yeah.
and people suspected it might have been they might have shuttered the project.
Plus, I believe the gameplay demo had something to do with a politician or something being kidnapped and then ended up dying in the gameplay.
Yeah, the Rainbow operatives ended up dumping him over a bridge. They ended up blowing him up effectively.
Yeah, it looked really good though. Maybe
Watch
it'll be there.
Dogs.
Oh yeah,
Watch
Watch
Talk
Dogs.
a
will
little
be
bit
there.
about Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
You mean Five Now Dogs 5?
Yes.
That'll probably be the biggest thing in their presentation. will be
Yeah.
Watch Dogs.
I hope
Like,
they
they've got a
clarify
lot writing on
how the
that.
multiplayer works for that.
And more
It's
Rayman,
gotta be-
even though that was a huge part of their conference last year. What else was in their conference last year? We got to see
Far Cry 3.
Florida.
Say what?
Florida, a live concert from Florida.
Oh, Flow Rider.
Yeah, at the Ubisoft
I had
conference
no
last
idea
year.
who he was when he came on
Like,
stage.
Who's this giant black man yelling at me? I don't like this song. I don't like this conference very much anymore. But yeah, that was fun. And then, what was it? Aisha Tyler.
She's doing it again.
Is she doing it again?
Yeah.
Is Toby going to be rolling around on his wheelies, or on his heelys, out on the stage and making an ass out of himself? Because that was a lot of fun last year, too.
That guy's terrible. Aisha Taylor did a good job of herself, at least last year. And
Oh,
she took-
yeah.
She took a lot of shit for it, and had to defend herself because, of course, she's a woman and doesn't play video games. Because we all know they don't.
Because she's got big tits and a nice body. Yeah, she doesn't play video games.
I think Lana has nice tits, not necessarily her.
Oh, yeah. I'm imagining Lana from Archer. They're the same person, right? Yeah. That's a good point. Fuck. Anyway, no, she actually did a really good job last year because Toby was being a fucking moron and she was like talking shit to him and like, just shut the fuck up. It was kind of like that attitude at some point. But
I'm looking at the South Park RPG.
oh yeah, Ubisoft
God.
picked that up. I forgot about that.
Oh,
They're
did
the new-
they?
Yeah, Ubisoft's their publisher now.
Okay,
Didn't no
then
screenshots come out?
I don't know if new screenshots came out. I know that for some reason.
No, they did. You can see Cartman's ass.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess Grand Theft Auto is not the only franchise that makes news with screenshots. If they're releasing Cartman asshole screenshots, and that gets headlines.
That should be due then this year, right?
Who
Yeah,
fucking
hopefully.
knows? I know that there's a big lawsuit going on between THQ and whatever. I guess South Park Studios is responsible for that.
Obsidian are the ones who are working on it.
Obsidian, did they do New Vegas? Is that what they did last?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did KOTOR 2, but that was a long time ago.
Okay. So they have a pretty good track record. It's not going to be just a licensed.
This I
Piece
think
of
is like
shit.
the first game in a really long time they're making that's not made in that's not a sequel or successor to a successful game.
Yeah, that either BioWare or Bethesda
Yeah, this is a
laid the
big deal for
groundwork
them.
for, so it was like easy to say, all right, we'll take all the menu systems and just put in a new plot.
Yeah, they got fucked on a lot of those things. They had a I remember reading about KOTOR 2. They had a year or something to make it.
Yeah,
And when
that
it came
was why
out, it was
so
a
much
buggy
got
mess.
cut at the end.
Yeah.
Anything Far Cry? No.
No, not
They
that
did.
quickly.
They just did Blood Dragons.
Maybe some DLC. I mean, not a new title, but maybe
Yeah.
they'll do a Jurassic Park DLC. That'd be fucking awesome.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wishful thinking. This is all speculative. Have some fun. I want some fucking Jurassic Park
They did
DLC
come
for
out
Far Cry, damn it.
They
Give it to me.
They came out with Blood Dragon. They're capable of doing anything.
That's true. I actually haven't played Blood Dragon. That's been on my to-do
It's
list.
a standalone game too. You don't even need to own Far Cry 3.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
which was a good idea.
Huh.
That was a
Alright.
really good idea.
So, like on the Xbox, you can just download Blood Dragon for 15, 20 bucks?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's fucking cool.
But you
I didn't know
shouldn't. You should download it on PC.
Yeah, obviously, but I'm just
yeah.
asking theoretically.
I think that's it for Ubisoft.
And Rayman,
Yeah,
which we
they're-
kind of came in our
They'll-
pants about before, but I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to
they're
that.
probably going to be fairly predictable this year.
What about okay, this is not Ubisoft, but Saints Row 4 now? Who picked that up? Is it Volition and
Deep Silver.
Deep Silver.
Deep Silver.
Okay. Just being as ridiculous as
I think
Yeah,
that
well,
has to be
they're-
my most anticipated game of the show. Easy.
They're doing it right this year. And
We're
they're
going to
getting
the
out
Saints Row 4
way
party.
ahead. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
God.
going to be out way ahead of Grand Theft Auto 5 too, and they've got the craziest bullshit. So they're
the dubstep.
hopefully they
run.
do well. Yeah, like that's a franchise that needs to succeed because GTA needs some competition.
Right, because you have, what is it? Saints Row in August, late August, like August 20th. Then you have GTA in like September 12th or something like that. Then you have
17th.
Watch Dogs. Okay, and then Watch Dogs in
Yeah.
October.
November.
Yeah, some real
Pretty
big
much
open world
1 month
games.
apart for the 3 biggest sandbox games.
Watch Dogs comes out November 19th.
Okay,
19th.
so there's a little bit more time there.
Yeah.
At least they're not fucking up the release dates like they did with Far Cry last year. That game came out in December, late
Yeah.
December.
Early December. It was like the first Tuesday.
That
in
ended up
December.
being my favorite game of the year too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last
it
month.
ended up missing a lot of considerations for Game of the Year because it came out so fucking late.
I remember that Spike TV didn't even include it in their nominations for Game of the Year. Like they announced their Game of the Year nominations before Far Cry was released, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, probably no Far Cry unless it's just Jurassic Park DLC. If it's not Jurassic Park DLC, I'm not interested. Let's make that
You'll
very
have to
clear.
make that yourself.
Okay, done.
Battlefield never
Let's
came-
kickstart a fucking Jurassic Park DLC.
Can I just
for Far Cry.
buy like the rights to the Turok name and hand it to them?
Yeah, who has the Turok?
You probably
license these
could.
days? Let's just do that.
It was like Acclaim back in the day. wasn't it?
Acclaim. So that was bought by. Who the fuck owns Acclaim?
I don't even
Does
know.
Acclaim exist anymore other than just as a footnote to
I don't know.
gaming history and NBA Jam? I don't know. So what other like non-major press conference titles are you guys looking forward to? We talked about Dark Souls 2, which
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm hard thinking about right now. Donk. Yeah, while you're down there. What else? Maybe some Borderlands 2 DLC.
No, that's what they
excited
released all.
I'm excited for Lords of Shadow 2, Castlevania.
I'm looking forward to Thief if they show off any of that.
What is Lords of Shadow 2? Is that a full console game?
Castlevania, Lords of Shadow 2.
Is it a console like $60 thing, not like a downloadable?
Yeah.
No, it's a full sequel.
Okay.
What's going on with Metal Gear Solid?
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 5.
They announced
right.
Kiefer Sutherland's going to be the voice of Big Boss yesterday.
There's something going on with Metal Gear Solid 5 that's not right. They revealed that Kiefer Sutherland will be the voice of Snake. Okay, now it gets complicated from there, but there was someone linked it in the Kotaku article about it that they showed some old gameplay where the guy crawling through the hospital,
Yeah.
and the guy who's talking to him is the guy who's got a full head wrap going on, and the Kiefer Sutherland voice is coming from that character. So it leads me to believe that the person that you see crawling around in that opening is not who you play as, or there's some sort of switch, or
Face Off. Got it. I've seen that movie.
there's still something going on there because Kojima's a fucking troll. Like,
Yeah.
he fucks with everybody. Like, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't fucking seem right. Something's wrong. Chronologically, it takes place 1 year before the first Metal Gear.
The first Metal Gear, like
you-
MGS1, like on the
no,
PlayStation.
Metal Gear 1.
Metal Gear 1. I don't even know what Metal Gear 1 is.
It came out for a system. I can't remember the name of it. It was ported over to the NES.
Oh,
Had
wow.
had terrible translation.
Oh, I Feel Asleep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Feel
I
Asleep.
Feel Asleep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. So, like, do you remember when Metal Gear Solid 4? All they showed before it came out was the desert Middle Eastern area, and then when the game came out, it turns out you went back to Shadow Moses. You went to all these other places. Like part of the embargo for the reviews was you couldn't talk about this kind of shit. So.
Mhm.
Well, it's the same thing
Something-
with Last of Us.
Something's still
With
going
those
on.
stringent embargoes. They don't
Yes.
want it spoiled for their consumers.
Yeah, something's going
That's
on.
why.
I hope it's there. I would love to see it. Metal Gear Solid 5 is one of the 2 games I'm looking forward to for the next generation consoles. That's it.
It's going to be on 360 and PS3.
Now,
So.
okay, crazy hypothetical. Didn't we see Gabe Newell out on the stage last year at the Sony press conference?
No. I
You
think
sure
that was
about
like
that?
2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago for Portal?
Yeah, that was just
Yeah.
sort of, yeah.
Okay, so crazy hypothetical. Do you think we'll see anything from Valve at Sony or Microsoft press conference?
As a hidden thing, probably not. But if they do,
Why
it
not?
better be
They don't have
goddamn
anything to
Half-Life 3.
show.
Half-Life 3.
I don't think.
We don't even
It
want Half-Life 3. I
probably
want
won't
Half-Life
be.
2 Episode 3. I don't even want the third game. Just give me Episode 3.
That can't live up to the hype that's been built around it already without
I
it
know.
even existing.
Or like Left 4 Dead 3, we haven't heard anything from that in a while. Or like, what about TF2 getting ported to the new consoles and, you know, being free to play with all their in-game purchases and stuff like that?
I could see that happening
you-
later.
I
I
could see
don't think that's worthy of a press conference announcement.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? Fucking Gabe Newell on stage talking about how the
Everyone
PlayStation
fine.
4
Well-
is the platform that he's choosing for Valve's games? Yeah,
Wow,
that's a
yeah.
big fucking deal.
Everyone would
That-
lose their minds.
that's a big deal, but it probably won't be a reveal. Like, they do their reveals in a very unique Valve way.
Oh,
They'll
like
do
their
some-
own ARGs.
Yeah, like
and-
their ARGs
Yeah.
that they do. Yeah, if they had something coming out, they would probably start it that way,
That's
just
a
to get
good
the hype train going, just to fuck with people, make them think that there's something coming up. Because we knew they were going to be at the year that Gabe was on stage at the Sony thing. We knew they were coming, and they hyped it up as a big Portal surprise.
So you're saying I should be checking Kotaku right now, see if something's leaked that I should be looking into, or like,
Well-
or during our flight on Sunday morning, like all the news is going to be breaking when we're in like radio silence flying from Denver to LA.
Like if you're when your plane is landing down and it looks like there's a big number 3 over Los Angeles.
Oh my
like,
God!
That,
Yeah.
That's a sign that maybe Valve will be there, but yeah, it doesn't seem like their style to make an announcement
I mean,
of
the
a
way
new title.
The way they do their patches on Team Fortress 2, one of the best patches they did when they added the new game mode is prior to them releasing the patch, they did a quick like hotfix patch that put something in the game. But the thing they put into the game was in the skybox in an area of a level you couldn't get to without using no clip. And if you fly out there, you'll see the actual like machine, like the boss or whatever in Team Fortress 2, just kind of just sitting there before the patch even came out. So we needed to go and find the hidden thing to go see what the patch was. So the way they do their releases and patches and stuff like that
Is
they can
even
probably think of
cryptic.
some- yeah, they can think of crazy stuff for their new releases.
That Team Fortress 2 thing being on PS4, if they put it out as like free and day and date updates
Mhm.
with the PC version, that makes sense. Like, if that happened, I wouldn't be surprised, because that seems like a kind of thing Sony would get from them, because the way they have Steam on the PS3 now. I could see that happening. That makes sense with how Valve runs things.
Also,
Yeah.
Warframe is on PS4, that free to play. So there's gonna be another free to play on the PS4.
Same with Blacklight
They're-
Retribution.
They're launching with 2 free-to-plays, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, Josh just said
Sure.
Blacklight Retribution, which has been
Yeah.
on Steam for a little bit now. I checked that out.
Yeah.
It was kind of fucking dull. It was just like Counter-Strike. But,
You mean you were bad at it?
yep, I was fucking awful at it.
It's
Go
the
fuck
same,
yourself.
It's the same thing.
Bethesda. We haven't said anything about Bethesda. Wolfenstein, The Evil Within.
And the MMO.
What is The Evil Within? Is there a trailer out for that I just haven't seen?
It's not
Yeah.
a gameplay.
There's that
It's
live
a
action.
Yeah, there's only been screenshots and a live
survival.
action thing. That's it.
Okay.
It was teased through Vine, which is really weird because the Vines seem to have like nothing to do with it. It just
Telltale's
did a
been
lot of
using
hype.
Vine like crazy.
I was just about to say, is Telltale going to make an appearance at any of these press conferences?
Well, they said
They
something
might.
about they're going to make another Walking Dead 2 game or something like that, like a sequel to
And that's
what
what
happened
this-
at the.
Well, they have to. I mean,
Yeah.
the way episode 5 ended,
It was
you would
like-
expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vines they've been releasing look like the art style for The Walking Dead, and if they're posting them now right before E3, seems like they're building up to something. I don't know if it'll be a reveal at one of the conferences or it might just be on the floor, but it seems like that's what they're working towards. I hope.
You got to finish that game, John.
Well, I heard they were going to put out a piece of content in between season 1 and season 2.
That they said too. You wouldn't have to wait for season 2 to get more.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they'll add
That might be it.
multiplayer DLC. It's a fucking hand chopping off game.
Multiplayer.
The multiplayer we've all been asking for.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's like a rock paper scissors style game where like you're each like I'm chained and then you're chained and like we have to negotiate and then one person loses a hand. Yeah, like so, I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
It's a terrible idea.
Yep, it is a terrible idea. So yeah, okay. So I know we're forgetting something else big.
So Wolfenstein and Elder Scrolls Online,
Mhm.
we're gonna get to play at E3.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Wolfenstein comes out in a few months, doesn't it? I don't know. I think it does.
No way. No, it just got announced.
Did it? What am I thinking of then? I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
You might be right, but it was just announced like 2 or 3 weeks ago. If they had an announced date, I'd be surprised.
Okay. All right. Well,
I could be wrong though.
but we get to play
Wolfenstein's the
it.
title.
Oh, okay.
I've loved that game for Wolfenstein series forever, so that's one I'm looking forward to. It's a big surprise to see that before Doom 4.
I know Doom 4 isn't how long in the works?
Awesome. Well, if you like the Wolfenstein series, we'll have to make sure that you get to go to that appointment. And
Hey, maybe they'll
shoot
have
some
Prey
video.
2.
No, I highly doubt it. That game is just being passed around like a cheap whore.
Yeah. Yeah, IGN had a good article about it the other day. They tried to lowball Human Head to buy them and all kinds of shit, and it was a mess.
Yeah, nothing else is coming to mind. Do you guys have anything else?
Loco Cycle, Xbox One launch game coming out to the 360 as well. That's coming from Twisted Pixel.
Okay.
They'll be at E3, so I want to try that out. I've loved every single one of the games they've made. They're really good.
Cool.
Plants vs Zombies 2.
That comes out like
Yeah.
in July.
Yeah, that comes out pretty soon. PopCap doesn't have a booth there, but that doesn't mean that they won't.
Does EA have a... Well, if EA has a booth, wouldn't they just be in there? I mean, they own them now.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. PopCap seems almost not independent of EA, but they're kind of own entity. And I know that in the past that they've had their own presence at E3.
They're like Blizzard, how Activision owns them, but they really don't.
Okay.
He's a celebrity. He's getting
But
pictures taken of.
they really don't fuck with them too much.
What about Batman Arkham Origins?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Current consoles.
Oh, Warner. Yeah, we haven't. So we're gonna see something new. Mortal Kombat, hopefully. New Mortal Kombat. Why not?
I don't know. They just added
Injustice
Scorpion.
just came out, and they're working on DLC for it still. No new Mortal Kombat.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a fighting game be a launch title. Maybe some Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or something like that show up.
A port could happen. It
Yeah.
seems unlikely. The big fighting game this year is going to be Smash Brothers if it's this year, in fact.
That's a good point. Yeah. So what else does Warner have? Yeah, Batman.
That's
That's about it. That's
pretty
like
much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're relying heavily on that DC franchise.
Oh yeah, they have DC, so they could easily I don't know the difference really personally between like DC and Marvel. Like I couldn't tell you which characters are which, but maybe like a Man of Steel game. But that'll probably just be for the iPhone because they've been doing a lot of shitty iOS games.
That seems like that's the way to do it now. Instead of putting out a full $60 console shit game, you just put out a 99-cent.
Yeah. Hey, are they watching their asses shake in the background? I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
No.
No, they're watching. They're watching the stream.
Not on purpose, anyway.
No, they're watching their ass shake. Hi, girls. I'm about to do this. Here we go. Brian doesn't want to talk, so the camera doesn't show up on him.
You'll make like this for you.
You need to move the other way to seal them.
All right. Anyway, I don't have anything else to talk about. It seems like a good time to end it. All right.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts for E3?
I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Maybe announce whatever game you're excited for most, or press conference, whatever.
Right.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'm most looking forward to. I don't know. Dan, you go.
Microsoft press conference and Destiny as a game.
I'm looking forward most to actually getting to pick up the controllers on the new consoles and play the PlayStation 4 and play the Xbox One. I can't even the Xbone.
The Xbone.
The Xbone, yeah.
Xbone. Let's see. I would definitely want to see how Microsoft does all of this damage control, and then I'm probably looking most forward to. I want to see what Titanfall is, because this is the creative core of Call of Duty 4. So
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to the
let's see what they can come
Respawn
up with.
product too, whatever that is.
Whether we've like lionized their creative abilities and kind of nostalgicized Call of Duty 4 to that extent, whether they can deliver again.
Okay,
Brian?
well, okay then, Brian.
Oh, no, Josh, go for it.
Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing most of the 15 new IPs that Microsoft purportedly has in the works. But of all the games there, I can't wait to see Saints Row 4. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, me too. Saints Row 4, that's going to be great. I mean, that's going to be awesome. Personally, that's just kind of one of those things where it's like, it's going to come out and there's going to be so many incredibly new technologically challenging games to see at E3 that, I mean, Saints Row is going to get overshadowed by a lot of stuff, but I still think it's going to be a fucking awesome title.
If you got the masks last year, you need to get the dubstep gun this year
The Mask?
from Metro, right? Isn't that what you...
Oh, yeah.
Gas
The gas mask, yep. In the background. Yeah, it's kind of... why'd the camera turn off? Yep, that's true. Or maybe a giant dildo bat. Hopefully it's something we can actually carry on the plane so we don't have to check our
You
bags.
think they'll have like giant props from their game at the Saints Row 4 party?
They better. If they have an open bar, they better give me a giant dildo to slap people with.
Your picture taken with giant dildo bat.
Yep. All right, Brian,
All right.
any closing thoughts?
I just want to. I just hope we're not locked out of seeing the new hardware. Like you said, I want to get my hands on the new controller. I want to see this thing in motion. Hopefully, it's on the floor. It might not be. It might be in private little rooms, but I want to see these two things in motion. And that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see a couple of you guys in just a few days.
Yeah.
All right. Game on.
Game on.
Game on.
All right, see you guys.